Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about simulating interferometric signals and testing TDI with LISA on table. But first, I have to talk a little bit about LISA measurement principle. Then I will try to explain why do we have to test TDI, and finally how can we test TDI with hardware. So, the LISA constellation is composed of 3 spacecraft separated by 2.5 million kilometers. Each spacecraft is equipped with 2 telescopes and 2 optical benches in order to send and receive laser beams between them. Each optical bench houses a free-falling test mass made of platinum and gold, and measuring picometric distance fluctuation between this test mass is the key point to detect gravitational waves with LISA. The light time between two spacecraft is about 8.3 seconds, so if we want to simulate LISA interferometric signals, we will need first to simulate time-delayed signals between distant spacecraft. We can start making different assumptions on the arm length variation, starting with a simplified LISA constellation. The simplest one is rigid and static. It means that the arm length remains constant in time. It also means that the light time between two spacecraft is the same for both directions. The second case scenario is also rigid, but this time the constellation is rotating, and so the light time between two spacecraft depend on the propagation direction in the arm. In this case, both Sagnac and Doppler effects can be observed. The third case scenario deals with a flexing and rotating constellation. Now, the arm length is no more a constant and it's time depending. Basically, these different assumptions mean multiple properties for delay operators. It's easy to see that in our first case scenario, the delay operator commutes. In fact, due to the low rotating rate of the constellation, we can show that a delay operator commutes too for the second scenario. In the last case, the delay operator for a flexing and rotating constellation doesn't commute. This difference will take sense for the time delay interferometry part. Like I said before, the distance fluctuation of an arm is measured between two distant test masses. For this, split interferometry technique consists on splitting this measure in multiple interferometric measurements. In LISA optical benches, 3 bit nodes are performed. The science signal measures distance fluctuation between distant and local optical bench. The test mass signal measures variation between local optical bench, local test mass, and adjacent optical bench. And the reference signal measures variation between the adjacent and the local optical bench. Here, the bar notation means that we are neglecting clock noise. Because the science signal contains distant beam information, it will contain the gravitational wave information, H, here in blue. It also contains the delayed laser phase noise from the distant spacecraft, here in red, and the local laser phase noise in green. Also, secondary noise like photodetector or readout noise. The same measurement is performed by the adjacent optical bench. In LISA, there is many noise sources which can affect path length measurement. Without noise reduction method like TDI, laser frequency is by far the dominant noise. In order to show how TDI is crucial for the mission, I take a simple example of unequal Michelson. The difference of arm length, delta L, is fixed by the orbit of LISA, and the laser frequency noise will introduce a phase noise proportional to this difference. Now, we know that a gravitational wave will introduce a phase signal proportional to the laser frequency and to the arm length. By imposing a gravitational signal greater than laser phase noise, the relative frequency deviation of the laser must be smaller than 2 times 10 to the minus 21. Of course, it's not possible. This is where TDI comes in. It synthesizes an equal arm interferometer in post-processing and reduces the difference delta L to our uncertainty on arm length. 1 meter of uncertainty is enough to reduce relative laser frequency to 10 to the minus 12, which is hard but possible for space-qualified lasers. So, to better understand how TDI works, We start with our signals performed on board, for local and adjacent optical bench. Then we remove optical bench and test mass and displacement noise, combining redundant information in test mass and reference signals. Applying delays and combining these new variables, we can now remove laser phase noise from adjacent benches and construct the TDI variables. We can apply delays to these TDI variables to synthesize a virtual equal arm length interferometer, and we get, for example, the phase noise free combination TDI-X, called Michelson combination for a static and rigid constellation. If we neglect secondary noises and assume that the noise of the backlink fiber between two adjacent optical bench is reciprocal, at the end it remains only gravitational signal. Each version of TDI differs in the properties of delay operators. For a realistic LISA constellation with rotation and nonlinear flexing, the remaining uncertainty of arm length is estimated to 10 to the minus 4 meter per square hertz, which is negligible. Then we can say that TDI 2.0 is efficient enough for LISA constellation. Now I'm gonna talk about how can we test TDI with hardware. LOT, for LISA on Table, is an electro-optical LISA simulator. It has been developed for several years at the APC laboratory with the support of CNES. The main goal of this experiment is to test the noise reduction method TDI and various instruments like photodiodes or the phase meter. It's composed of 4 subsystems. The control command, which allows us to choose simulation settings like delay types, generates signals and acquire data. The electronical interferometer produces electronical bit notes as the optical interferometer which produces optical bit notes. And, at the end, the phase meter which can measure interferometer outputs. The control command subsystem is composed of a signal generative part, 3 DDS for direct digital synthesizer. They are controlled by a computer through a LabVIEW interface. All these units are synchronized with a GPS reference oscillator. The output signals are sent to the interferometers to be mixed as signals or noises. The electronical interferometer simulates a simplified LISA constellation with one mother spacecraft making interference with 2 distant daughter spacecraft. For the daughter spacecraft, we choose delayed signals. The output of this interferometer is 2 separated bit notes like in a simplified LISA spacecraft with only 2 arms. The optical interferometer has the same purpose and structure, but this time signals of the DDS are directly printed with acousto-optic modulators on one splitted laser. At the end, the interferometric signals are recombined on photodetectors. For better accuracy, the optical interferometer is placed in a vacuum chamber. The phase meter is a prototype developed at the Albert Einstein Institute at Hanovre. It can be controlled by the computer and provides a file containing, among other things, amplitude and bitnote frequency. The method used to this measurement is based on a phase-locked loop. It is also synchronized with a GPS reference oscillator at 40 MHz. Then, TDI is applied to these outputs with MATLAB. For the following experiment, some assumptions were made, like static and rigid constellation in order to test TDI 1.0. We have also a perfect phase-locked constellation, a backlink fiber reciprocity, and we assume that the test mass and the optical bench move together. And for now, LISA on Table doesn't simulate clock noise or secondary noises. This is the last results from Mathieu Laporte on TDI 1.0, and they show that TDI 1.0 works properly with a reduction factor of the laser frequency noise around 7 order of magnitude for the optical interferometer and 8 order of magnitude for the electronical interferometer. We can see that the phase noise requirement is not reached. In fact, it's the LISA phase noise requirement, and LISA on table doesn't have the same accuracy. Further analysis showed that residual noise for the electronic lot comes from phase noise at DDS output and fluctuation in cable length. For the optical interferometer, the residuals comes from optical path length instabilities and mechanical instabilities. To go further, we want to reduce residual noises both in electronical and optical lot. For this, Pierre Pratt from APC is developing an ultra-stable multi-channel DDS for the LISA benches. We can now imagine a new, more stable and efficient optical bench to reach a reduction factor of 8 order of magnitude. We want it more flexible to add some extra acoustic optical modulator in order to simulate secondary noises or clock noise to estimate TDI residuals. The main goal for the future of LISA on table is to test the efficiency of TDI 2.0. The control command part is being improved to apply time-dependent delays between LISA on table arms. Soon we will be able to simulate effects like Doppler frequency shifts and Sagnac effects. Thank you for your attention. If you have some question to ask about LISA on table, you can send me an email.